In my mind, I thought I was gonna screen mirror with the iPad because that just seems like an easy way to know that I look like how I look like, and I wasn't able to do it. So here we are. It's been a long time. I shouldn't have left you. I don't know the rest of the lyrics, but we're going to just pick up where we left off. I will explain a few things of where I've been, what I've been doing. But you know, I can't take it back. Just one more check here. First of all, I'll cry if this isn't correct. I have a microphone. Kind of random, but I want a microphone to feel like I am podcasting. So I have a microphone. And that's what I'm doing. That might work a little well if I charge one microphone before getting started. So that, you know, we're just not using it for kick singles. We actually using this thing. So let's see. Goes here. I'm gonna just use one of my little cords on my vanity. Plug that on in. Come on, guys. Alright. I guess this means we're recording test one, test one, two. Y'all honestly take me serious about it. Hey guys, welcome back. Like, you know, what is the intro? Welcome. Hey guys, welcome back to the Just Healing Podcast. Sorry, I'm the worst podcast host ever and just literally dropped off the face of the earth. Who does that? I'm gonna take my hair out because it's gonna be up all night, and so maybe just taking it out, letting that baby breathe a little bit. So I have braids. Yeah, have braids. And we're gonna get started. Like, I'm gonna tell y'all where I've been. I'm gonna be doing my makeup because we are gonna have like a little topic. But I really just want to start where I've been, kind of just start my podcast how I always started. I don't know if I told you guys in my random takes in the beginning, I got a microphone. Very excited about it. Very excited. Oh, did I turn her off? No, ma'am. We're recording. We're live, baby. So yeah, it's been so much going on, guys. So let me just start the pod. Welcome back to the Just Healing Podcast. This is a space where we grow, where we heal, where we laugh, where we cry, where we just talk about things that we can relate to, getting us honestly through our healing journey. Because first of all, nobody said how ghetto the healing journey is. Never knew that. That actually would have been nice to know. Like, that would have been a great thing to know, that the healing journey is just a lot. But here we are doing it. I am your host, Jasmine. I am a single mom of two. I have been in the divorce process / legally separated for pretty much 2 years now. However, I'm just really learning so much about the court system, so much about the family court system in particular, and just how, you know, sometimes I feel, yes, the girlies do be lying, or, you know, the guys, I feel like it's mostly guys, the guys do be lying when, you know, they say they're going through a divorce. But once you're in the process, you really do learn just how tedious this process is, especially, of course, when kids are involved. But that's actually what I'm gonna be talking about today, so I'm not gonna go into it too much into detail here. I love to start my podcast off with a healing with feelings. That is when I just kind of say what I'm feeling, emotion wise. So, you know, I feel that in the past, I have been someone to really kind of just brush over my feelings. Like, I'm definitely a I'm okay girly, and even if I'm not okay, I'm gonna just say it. And in this season, I've really tried moving away from that and tried really just saying how I really feel, especially if it's, you know, to my loved ones or just to my community, just to let them know, like, you don't have to hold it in. You don't have to say I'm okay. It's okay if you're not okay. And that has really helped me through my healing journey. It's really helped me just kind of be really honest with myself. And yeah, the honesty has just helped the overall healing, because I think I used to think that if I wasn't okay than I was like still, you know what I mean, like hung up on the situation, and that's not the case at all. And once I realized that, you know, healing is just such a journey, it was easier for me to not trip. Like, gosh darn it, I hate when I drop things. Hold on, just gotta get I'm gonna get it with my foot, so I don't feel like bending now. Anywho, yeah, so that is where healing with feelings came from. Just being able to be open about how I'm feeling, and hopefully, you know, that branches off, and, you know, watching this podcast, you can also be okay with saying how you're feeling. And so I would say my current emotion right now is really just grateful. I feel grateful. I feel hopeful. I've just been in a really hopeful spirit of, you know, even everything that's went on so far, I've still been really hopeful of like that ultimately this was just God's plan all along, and he just has something so much better for me. And God is so good, because God will give you so many glimpses, and with those glimpses you're like, oh my gosh, like, God, me, like, you got this for me. And I feel like I've been getting those glimpses, and they just feel really good. So yeah, I feel hopeful. I feel that although this storm has been so crazy, I still wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. Not that I have a worst enemy, but I wouldn't wish it on him if I did. And although it's been just so crazy, I'm just like, this was God's ultimate plan. And who am I? Who am I? Like, Jazz, humble yourself. Who am I to go against his plan, you know? And once I was able to tell myself that, I don't know, it's just been up and stuck since then. And I feel like once I was able to realize that too, is when he started giving me the glimpses. Once I started to stop taking control over the situation, try to make, you know, courts believe something that they don't truly care about. Once I was able to step away from that and just be like, you know what, God, it's your will, whatever you say. Like, I don't care anymore. And it's not that I don't care about the situation. I just don't care to wrestle with it, because it's getting me nowhere. And once I did that, and once I stopped wrestling, because that's the other thing. Just because I stopped wrestling doesn't mean that God isn't going to fight on my behalf. So once I listened to him and I stopped doing the wrestling, I mean, guys, it's insane. Insane. So I would say that would definitely be my healing with feelings. I also like to do a segment called Healing Hacks. They are things that I do through my healing journey to really just make me heal better, heal with intention. I think, you know, a lot of the times we can heal, but during that healing process, we almost forget about ourselves, and we're so focused on healing. And then it's like, well, once you're healed, then what? So I've been really trying to heal with intention, meaning I've been trying to heal with a lifestyle. Like, this, not only am I healing, but this is going to be my new lifestyle. Like, I'm a healed girly. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we are in healing spaces, and that is the only way we're operating. And so I've been doing that, and that is what my healing hack is. You know, just like ways that once, you know, you're healing and you're getting going on that journey, how are you keeping this up? How are you keeping this a lifestyle? So my healing hack for this episode is definitely going to be one for my either single or co-parenting parents. So I know that sometimes, you know, you can be a single parent and you're not on the co-parenting journey yet. Not even gonna lie, it took a minute for me to get there. It took a minute for me to get there. But now that I am, one of my biggest healing hacks, first of all, I've always been a very adaptable person. So things don't really get me as frazzled up as sometimes I feel like even they should. I don't know. I don't get as frazzled. So, I would read on like mom groups and stuff that, when their kids are gone with the other parent for like the week or the weekend, they're just like so distraught, don't know what to do with themselves. I told myself from the get-go, like, no, you are going to have a break. You're going to do what you want to do, because when do you ever get a break? And that has been working so good for me. I think it's been working good, honestly, since the jump. So you guys may not know, but my kids had a random, well, not random, but it was very non-planned 2-week visit in the summer, this past summer. And it was told to me literally like 3 days before they were supposed to leave. So I did have a typical mom freak out, simply because number one, I was still breastfeeding. And number two, it just was no time. Like, it was just no time. But even with that, the way I just shifted and, navigated the situation the best way I could, it was really the start of like, okay, so this is how co-parenting goes, I don't really find myself getting razzled about like holidays. Like, I know sometimes parents are like, it's really tough having a Christmas without your kids. And I'm sure it is. I also haven't experienced it yet. So don't quote me when I come back crying when I'm not with my kids on Christmas. But I genuinely think that like I may be a little sad, but I'm also just very adaptable. And I also just know that like, okay, I'm not with them on Christmas, but I can make memories, on those years on another day. It doesn't have to be Christmas. So definitely doing that. But my healing hack would have to be to just use those breaks, use those times when they're away, and just do what you want. Like, just do what you want. I think it's very easy to use those times and be like, oh, I'm gonna just sit around and mope around in the bed because I don't know what's happening with the other parent. And I don't know if they're going to bed on time. I feel like that was definitely one of my stressors. Probably like, not so much in the summer, because I just feel like, it was the summer, no one was going to school or anything. But I definitely think that, even just preparing myself for, there may come a day where, we're co-parenting closer in distance, and, just things that you can't control. Don't use the entire, break that you have focusing on those things that you can't control, because the break will be over before you know it. And it's like, what did you do? Nothing. And you're back without having a break being a mom. So that would just be my healing hack is just using these co-parenting breaks literally to your advantage. Like, it is such a game changer when you just put your boundaries in place and use them to your advantage. It is amazing, like amazing. And so yeah, that was my healing hack, and that was my healing with feeling segments. And let's just get right on into the nitty-gritty of what we're talking about. So along with the same kind of just trend of, obviously co-parenting, going through a divorce, the new season of Real Housewives of Atlanta has come out. And the first thing I really noticed was how many of the women are going through divorces. And, even like starting off with like Kenya Moore, I want to say her divorce is like 5 years in. Y'all, I literally cannot do that. Like, I cannot do that, but I see how it's done. Like, I see how it can be done. And I really would love, when all of this is over on my end, I would love to just kind of like cultivate a space for moms, especially moms who maybe were in similar situations, like a similar situation like me, moms who are going through DV, moms who are going through, you know, even if it's not DV, just wanting to be done, wanting a divorce, number one, and it just, number one, dragging out, or, you know, just happening in general. And so Kenya, yes, Kenya, I think she said 5 years. It's going on their divorce for 5 years. Then of course Portia is divorcing. What's her name? Gosh, what's her name? Drew is getting a divorce. That's the one I want to talk about. So Drew is getting a divorce. Number one, I could not stand Drew's husband since he came on the show. He always gave me narcissist vibes. He always gave me that he was secretly kind of just like jealous of Drew. And I never liked him. And so the interesting thing about divorce is you really realize divorce is like feeling like, divorce makes you feel like, am I really an adult? I'm gonna tell you why it makes you feel like that. You can go through a divorce, right? Especially if you got some kids. And you can think, these my kids. At the end of the day, I'm gonna have a say. I just want to tell anybody out there, you don't. Like, you really don't. It definitely depends on, you know, of course, who your judge is, who your attorney is. But that's another thing. These attorneys do not care. The first thing I would tell someone being a divorce coach, these attorneys do not care. And so when you are going through a divorce, especially with kids, I feel that you need to have like a literal list of like, what is your goal? Because unless you have a particular goal, like your goal just can't be like, you know, he did this, so I want this divorce, this is what I want. It's typically probably not gonna go that way. And I hate to say this, but the only time it is gonna go that way, the only time you are probably gonna get everything you want out of your divorce is if you're dead. And that's, you know, when abuse is involved, you have to be dead. Like, you have to die first, because if you don't, if you're still alive, they really just don't care. Like, they don't care about the abuse that happened to you. And I know it sounds so just like cold saying it, but I'd rather you hear it from me than, you know, go through this journey and think that they care and pay them thousands of dollars for them to tell you that they care and continuously say, oh my gosh, I care. I'm just here to make this better for you and your kids. I'm just here to do what's best for your kids. They don't care. And the sooner you know that, I just feel the more money you're going to save and the more you're not going to be hurt. Because that's another thing. Like, I know they say, you know, at the end of the day, these people are just out here doing a job, making money. But no, that's not all that they're doing, because when attorneys bring you in as a client, they really do make you think they care. And it takes such a quick turn that you just feel so betrayed. by the whole system. Like, you start thinking things like, are all these people working together? Are all these people working together for the non-betterment of my good or my children's good? And yeah, ultimately you just feel like a kid who doesn't have a say anymore. Like, you just feel like a kid who birthed this child, but you don't have a say on where they go on the weekends. Like, that's so crazy to me. Like, that is so crazy to me. And granted, I don't know what I would have done without my dad in my life. However, I do think that if a father is abusive to a mother, it is impossible for him to be a good father. I will die on a hill on that line. Like, I will die on a hill. You're not a good father. You're not a good man. You're not a good person. So stop. You know, like, it's like, stop. And the fact that the court systems just don't see that is so crazy to me. Which brings me to Drew, and I'm gonna stop ranting because obviously I could go on. But which brings me to Drew and Ralph. Ralph lives in the basement, and that's so crazy to me. Like, I feel like it's things like that we all seen Ralph on Housewives, you know. So we all know Ralph's type. We all know that Ralph is a narcissist, or he has narcissistic tendencies. We don't know if he's a narcissist. We're not gonna go diagnosing people. He behaves like one. And because of that, I feel Ralph is insistent on living in the basement because ultimately that gives him control still, you know, like, that gives him the control of he can, which he was doing when they were together, you know, just like not come home and, you know, go to his new supplies house. But Drew, since you're in the house and she's, you know, the mom home with the kids, I feel like Drew can never have anyone over because you're still here. But it's just so crazy that, like, stuff like that, the courts can be like, oh, well, he's gonna live in the basement. And then you just feel like, you know, really stuck. And I just think in some situations, I never knew how hard it was to make a divorce final. Like, no one could have ever told me that. When I used to hear people say, like, oh, divorce is so hard, I honestly thought they were just talking about the mental piece of it. Like, the way that a court will reschedule your court date, and it just won't be like a reschedule to next week. It'll be like a reschedule like months later. Or the way, you know, I had some attorneys who we had orders given, typed up, ready to go, that they just sat on for over 3 months. Actually, longer than that. The orders were given June 2024. Those same orders still aren't signed. And so it just makes you think, like, we're coming up on a year, and that's just temporary orders. But it's almost like, okay, if the temporary orders need to be the actual orders to get this divorce finalized, I don't care. Like, just go for it, you know? Like, because you also come to a point in divorce where you're just like, I don't care. Like, y'all don't care. And again, it's not me saying I don't care. It's just me saying, why am I going in these circles paying these thousands of dollars if y'all don't care and nothing's going to ultimately be done? Like, I'm not just going to keep paying you. It's literally like paying someone just imagine like going to work and clocking in but doing nothing. That is what it's like retaining a attorney for a divorce. Like in some way or another, they have all been the same. And I don't know. I truly just have PTSD from them all. Like, I just think they're all liars. I don't trust them. And it sucks that it has to get to that, because ultimately they know that like you need them, because especially if the other party has an attorney, you know, no one, especially with so much at stake, is going to go pro se when the other party has an attorney. And so that just sucks. And I just look at even some of the women on Housewives and I'm like, well, this is crazy. I mean, you think about Portia, and she is divorcing Simon, but Simon also just got deported. And so it's like, how does that go? You know, like, how does it go? It's just all so stupid. But yeah, I had seen this video from Ralph and Ralph is a joke. And he was like, I guess in the middle of the video, someone was like, someone's coming downstairs, which I doubt it was. That was just their way of like pretty much queuing up some drama for him to say about Drew, which he did. He fell right into the bait. He's like, oh, Drew's not allowed down here. So I'm gonna go into the app and say it. And I'm gonna tell the judge, like, you know, Drew violating the order because she coming downstairs. It's just so silly. Like I said, it's just that level of keeping I feel like control. So I don't know. Y'all, divorce is so ghetto. That is what I want y'all to know. If y'all don't leave with nothing else, I just want you to know it's so ghetto. I'm so glad that this is the last time I'm ever gonna get a divorce, because me and my next husband, my real husband, oh, we are gonna be marital bliss. Marital bliss. Like, I'll be 35, probably 36 maybe, but probably 35. And guess what? I'm giving him babies. And people are like, aren't you like scarred? And I'm like, no, I'm not. Because personally, I knew I should have never gotten married. That was just something I did out of shame and guilt of my own relationship and how it started and how it, you know. And so I just know my real husband, we're not gonna have those problems. Like, no, that is gonna be my husband. Like, period. And so, yeah. Did I tell you guys where I was going? I'm going to a gala. I also want to talk about, you know what, I'm gonna leave that to another episode, but it's gonna be along the same lines. It'll be like a part 2. So yeah. So I want y'all to know I totally understand. This is a totally different. So I just want y'all to know I completely understand. This is a totally different makeup look because it's a different day. So as I was recording the previous episode, well, this episode, I realized my camera stopped. I need to get something that mirrors what, you know, I'm seeing. So if it does stop, I'll know. But until then, I'm gonna just tag on this little ending. If you guys were interested in my Real Housewives of Atlanta divorce talk, want me to get more into it, like, you know, maybe reviewing episodes and stuff, let me know. Be sure to like and subscribe. You can find me on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook at Just Healing Podcast. And I'll see you guys in my next episode. Bye.